Ido Aharoni is the Consul General of Israel in New York, representing the State of Israel to communities throughout the tri-state areas of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. A native of Holon, Israel, Aharoni grew up a fan of basketball, particularly of his hometown team, Hapoel Holon. Throughout his career, he has kept close ties to the game and witnessed the beginnings of basketball in Israel.
Americans influenced Israeli basketball twice. The first time is less known. People that introduced modern basketball to Israel were the Jews who came from Egypt, and they learned their basketball from the American troops who spent time in North Africa. The second wave of American influence came in the late 60s and the early 70s. People like Tal Brody and his generation, and Barry Leibowitz, and with their American basketball education, training, coaching, and they really introduced the standards that were then here in the United States to Israeli basketball.
Since that time, the talent of players from Israel has grown. Today, 2 native Israelis have played in the NBA. The emergence of Israeli players in the United States began in 1988, when a young Aharoni, then attending Emerson College in Boston, aided his friend in being recruited by a Division I team.
My good friend Nadav Hennefeld was looking for a team to play college level. I helped him to draft a letter. We sent it out to 35 colleges. He came to New York thinking he would be recruited by St. John's. They wanted him, in fact, but he didn't like the urban setting. He wanted something more rural, if you may. So I referred him to the late Marv Kessler, who was the coach of Hapoel Holon. That's how I knew him, from Holon. Marv Kessler called Jim Calhoun and asked him, how would you like to have the Israeli Larry Bird? And Jim Calhoun said, I'd love to hear about the Israeli Larry Bird. And the rest is history. Nadav came in 1989, was an integral part of what is being referred to in Connecticut until this very day as the Dream Season. It was their first ever top 25 ranking. It was their first ever Big East championship. They made it all the way up to the Elite 8. Nadav was the first, and then Doron Sheffer came, and Gilad Katz, and Uri Cohen-Mintz. Jim Calhoun is perhaps the reason why we have today 2 Israelis playing the NBA, because he opened the door for Israeli talent on the collegiate level. Fresh American talent is coming to Israel all the time, and I think the reason why they're coming to Israel is because the NBA is becoming so competitive, and the NBA is becoming so international. It's very difficult to find your place in the NBA, so a lot of good players in all positions find themselves overseas. And as a result, Israeli professional basketball is becoming more competitive.
American players who relocate in Israel to play basketball professionally discover life in the country is not what they originally expected.
I think everybody is pleasantly surprised when they get to Israel, because the gap between image and reality is so dramatic. People think of Israel, they think of danger, they think of bloodshed, they think of conflict, they think of tension. But when they actually arrive there, they find a place that is vibrant, energetic, creative, inspirational, very friendly, very welcoming. And I think it's no coincidence that you have today a significant community of former American professional basketball players that chose to make Israel their home. Players that live in Israel, started families in Israel, have their second and third careers in Israel, and they're very happy being there.
Now I played Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Argentina, Belgium.
International basketball players commit themselves to following that bouncing ball across the globe, chasing opportunities to continue in a profession they're passionate about.
My name is Will, not we.
As a season in one country ends, a new season in another country begins. Will Graves and Hanan Coleman are 2 players who came to Maccabi Haifa mid-season for a fresh start.
Will Graves is a very special player. He confidence on himself, he calm, he making great shots, he contribute on defense, he contribute on the rebound. He's not a usual player, it's tough to defend him.
Will gives us like another threat on the perimeter, plus with post game and toughness. He can defend most court positions, the 2 through the 5. He's mobile and real strong, so he's able to guard, and we're able to switch with a lot of pick and rolls with him.
Will is a kind of street shooter that if he gets into the game, he can decide the game by himself. I think that Hanan influenced on the court and off the court equally. On the court, he's our best defender among the guards, a team player.
You're not going to leave Hanan, Moran, or Will open. They're deadly three-point shooters, so it opens up the court a lot for me and the rest of the team.
Off the court, I think he's a bridge between the Americans and the Israelis, and he created a new and great atmosphere within the team.
The new pieces were a great fit, and Maccabi Haifa has been able to gel as a team just in time for the playoff push.
I hope we are in the good way, in the right way to go into the playoffs.
We're kind of new, kind of the newer teams with addition to the guys that we have. So a lot of teams are nervous, scared, whatever you want to call it.
The team is different. The players have different skills. They are more team-oriented. The locker room, mental, we got different guys, not only different players. And that affected the locker room very positive.
Make sure that makes the episode. I get all that in.